Hi, I'm Frank Wander. Thanks for joining us for the second video in our series on knowledge worker productivity. In the first video, if you caught it, called the human factors, we explained why knowledge workers are treated as interchangeable parts. Quite simply, during the industrial era, workers were incidental. They performed very simple repetitive tasks, and they were interchangeable by design. Process was king, the workers didn't matter, and guess what? That is still true in traditional corporate America today. This is our blind spot. Now, a blind spot is never good, and in fact can be very damaging. Moreover, the most obvious blind spots can persist for a very long time because humans unquestioningly accept what they are trained to accept. Let me prove to you how obvious things can be missed by everyone once they're accepted. Consider the suitcase. For hundreds of years, people carried suitcases in trunks, heavy trunks, yet everyone missed the most obvious opportunity of them all. Until suddenly, there was a breakthrough. A breakthrough that required no complex engineering, no teams of scientists, just a 5,500-year-old device called the wheel. Imagine that. The wheel was added to suitcases along with a handle, and quickly everyone adopted them. People were surrounded by wheels, cars, trains, golf carts, and wheelbarrows for carrying dirt. But to carry clothes, no one made the connection. Quite simply, everyone missed it. Everyone. Because they were trained to accept suitcases without wheels. Can you imagine something as obvious as this persisting for hundreds of years? But it did. It's hard to imagine not having wheels on suitcases, but until recently, that was true. So no question, putting wheels on suitcases was a breakthrough. No different than the human factors of productivity are going to be. It is complete nonsense that our people are treated as interchangeable parts. And it would be laughable if it also weren't so damaging to the companies and the employees. Thankfully, we at the Institute are changing people's perceptions, so this won't be true for much longer. And let me demonstrate why this isn't going to persist. I want to play a game called Imagine This. To start, use your imagination. You just purchased a high-tech factory that makes custom parts. You own it. These parts require careful engineering and are very, very expensive to produce. Also imagine that your factory is filled with very expensive robotic equipment that's all networked together. Every robot is complex, and they have to be individually programmed to produce custom parts. Basically, these are your producers. So you take over the company, you pop champagne, sit back to celebrate, and then you begin to dig in and you find a few things out. The purpose of the game is to find out, how do you feel about these? Number one, 65% of your aggregate cost is spent on complex production equipment, yet your managers and technicians don't have a single operator's manual. Woo! Imagine that. The assembly line is unreliable. Your managers have no idea if this equipment will work successfully next time they use it, and it is very, very expensive to run. The people responsible for networking this expensive equipment together have actually never been trained to do it. And worse, no one even knows if they have the aptitude to do this job. So, how are you feeling? This is your factory. You paid a lot of money, your baby. The level of ignorance is stunning. How could your leaders make wise decisions when they were so ignorant of the most basic facts about this equipment? Number four, you dig into this gap a little further and you shockingly find there is a wealth of valuable research available that describes how to optimize the use of your equipment, but all of your managers have ignored it. No one understands the production capacity of the manufacturing equipment, and therefore throughput can't even be optimized. Number six, key segments of your network are down, but no one even knows. And seven, worst of all, the production managers mistakenly believe these individually programmed machines are interchangeable parts, and they move them around whenever they feel it's necessary. I got news for you. If you manage knowledge workers, like a division of IT professionals, all of this is true. The workers are 63% of the cost, and each knowledge worker is a producer. They're individually programmed through either training or experience. It's called institutional experience. They're highly, highly specialized. They produce custom parts when you use them. There happens to be tons of academic research about how to use this equipment, but it is completely ignored because they're parts. Managers move them around without even understanding the impact. There's so much institutional experience, it is a big impact. And folks, it's time to understand the human infrastructure as well as your servers. Knowledge workers aren't interchangeable parts. They never were. Frederick Taylor invented management science at the end of the 1800s. We know so much more than that now. And at the IT Excellence Institute, we are going to change everything. We are launching the next productivity revolution in America, a la Frederick Taylor. But we are doing it by bringing an understanding of the human factors of productivity to the workplace. As Peter Drucker said, knowledge workers are assets, and as assets, they must be grown. Stand by. At the IT Excellence Institute, we are launching the next productivity revolution in America by bringing an understanding of the human factors of productivity to the workplace. Knowledge workers are assets. As assets, they must be both grown and operated wisely. Before you invest more in talent, unlock the full potential of your existing staff. Contact us. We'll show you how.